has been underwhelming from what I've seen from the pubs players I've watched, from the games I've played, and I wonder if it'll just get outscaled. It feels like all the Radiance items, the Battle Furies, the aura items like Crimson Guard, it just makes it really hard for this hero to dish out damage that he used to be like this 1v5-er kind of like Terrorblade, and it feels harder to reach that point for PL. But in terms of the laning stage, he should be set up for a very good game. So, like, I think it's okay to pick a hero like this that early. But like you said, they have these 3 bans. It's really important to cover it. You've already called out 2 of those bans, so I think those are very well thought out with that. And I think Spectre's the last one for me. I think that's like another hero that just outscales you, and you want to be very wary. I don't want to be rushed as PL. I don't want to feel like I have to turn up the pace of the game for some reason, because you are a late game hero.
Yeah, and also the cute thing with Spectre is, right, you press Haunt, you're like, ooh, there he is. But no, I think another point with Clock, I just realized, I want to go back to the Clock point, is the games feel a lot slower in terms of your teams go aggressive and try and like put a control on the map, but like the whole zoo element of the game in previous patches is kind of pretty much gone. There are elements of like Beastmasters and stuff coming through, but overall drafts allow for longer games. So a nice thing as well with the Clockwork is you have just this vision that you always have throughout the game, and it's just really easy to play into. But then fast forward, we have the PL now, it's like, it's cute, but you need to find your answer. And for Voldemort as well, they need to just round out their draft, because all the issues that BSJ highlighted for the PL, they're things that you basically answer with having earlier timings, for example, on other heroes, or having just like too much team fight, so that you have to answer the PL, but because you've answered Disillusion hero, you're probably lacking like team fight or something because you're going for more burst, etc. So there are ways in which this early pick can force some teams into just a bad draft because they're focusing so much on it.
I am really liking Kunkka again for HellRaisers. Obviously different series, different team, but naturally you want to have one hero that doesn't give a crap about PL. So since you already picked your offlaner, you want to probably pick it in the mid lane, and then you want to pick a hero that's responsible for eventually killing the PL. So I think Kunkka in the mid lane stands out a lot to me, just because you have the X against the Glimpse. Timbersaw, okay, so it looks like they're rotating the Veno. So Timbersaw is the I don't give a crap about PL hero. Never really dies to that at all. I feel like with the 3 heroes that Team Voldemort has, it's like we're trying to space you out. We're trying to kite you, like get out of our face. And I think these like beefy frontline strength heroes are exactly what they needed. So I thought they were going to go with a mid laner, but I know Funnick loves his Timbersaw. So it's either a 5-position Veno. I don't know if that's been happening in EU. I've seen a decent amount of it in NA at least. So I could see 5-position Veno maybe being the rotation, the surprise gotcha.
It sounds like HellRaisers thing they could do, especially with the Timber is a classic like flex that they have as well between their mid and their offlaner. So there's always potential right now that HellRaisers, in terms of philosophy, it feels like they're keeping to it. They're sticking to their guns on how HellRaisers play Dota and also draft, right? Or at least drafting, sorry. But for Voldemort, they go for the Centaur. It's good again. Say again, sorry.
I said into Timber.
Yeah, cool. Centaur. Yeah, I agree. It's like it's cute for like if you were to do the whole classic 5-on-5 in your mind, ignore every other construct of the game. Sure, like Voldemort's draft could be kind of cute with the Stampede initiation, get out, reset, kite, like BSJ said. But how do you get to that point of having a true 5-on-5 when right now you have no answer to a Timbersaw, right? Like it's very hard right now. Voldemort putting themselves in a corner. I think the saving grace for them is they are second pick, which means they can potentially like find that hero in the last kind of, okay, gotcha, you found this weakness, but their draft is just too clean looking from HellRaisers. It's too annoying to deal with.
T-Gav, I'm getting one thing from you here. Every time you mention cute on the team that you're talking about, that's usually the team that you expected. It's like your nice way of saying that they're going to do badly.
Well, yeah, because like a cute draft is like OG, you know? They got their lane like winners, and then they got this ability to play 4 or 5 heroes, aggressive across the map, sweeping through, taking fights, outplaying left and right. It's cute, you know? And then a stack, for example, they're trying to go for the same cute philosophy, but how are they getting there? They haven't got the full construct of survive 15, then be cute. There you go.
I like the explanation
so if you're
for
cute,
it.
You're either OG or you're bad, is what you're saying?
Yeah, because like OG is so good that people try to emulate them and then become bad.
Yeah, copy paste doesn't really work. I get it.
I survived that so. That was a close one.
So we just learned that you just winged all of that the whole way through.
Yeah, no.
It's good. It's good. You've got an answer for everything in here. But do we have an answer for Voldemort here to find some sort of success, or is it just as dire and bleak as it seems from the start?
I'm looking at the how to deal with Timbersaw because it feels like even if they find an answer, that one hero to deal with Timbersaw, they then have to go, okay, so now how are we stopping the Venom from just naturally pushing? How are we stopping this Lifestealer from always existing in his lane, right? Like the lane, like just the lanes from HellRaisers feel so dominant, and Voldemort just lacks so much early damage. They lack any ability to make strong plays. They're so locked into timings that it amplifies a Venom who's level dependent, a Timber level dependent, right? I'm sure BSJ would agree with this. A lineup that is level dependent naturally will, be early on a team that is, item dependent. So it's just scary seeing the reflection on these two drafts.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think you have Timbersaw is going to become very independent very early in the game. So then you have Venomancer Clockwork. I'm assuming Venom's 5, unless it's mid, but you have this like Venomancer Clockwork support duo that I think is just going to mess with the Centaur like super early, and it's going to make Lifestealer have like a super free game because you can basically enable him because you don't have to send your supports time on the Timbersaw. And the one thing I had a concern with the Centaur is like, yeah, it's not that great against Timber, but it just dies to clock Venom. Like it straight up just dies, and the only way it lives is Stampede, which is a super long cooldown. And you also aren't level 6 until 7 minutes or so into the game. So I really like the puck. It's the Stampede counter. Super good against PL. Super good against Disruptor because you can actually dodge the glimpse now. So as of now, they have absolutely no way to kill this puck. I'd say their only way to deal with it is like an instant stun in the mid lane. So the one that comes to mind always is DK, but he's terrible against Venomancer Timbersaw. So
5 seconds remaining.
I love this is the approach you're supposed to have as first pick when you have that 9th pick. Pick a hero that's good against what they're currently showing you and is not convenient to address. Like all the heroes that would normally address it aren't innately good against the rest of your draft. So I really like the well-rounded draft from HellRaisers. Kind of feels similar to the Ursa game that we saw in the other series where it feels like they're going to have these people running at them all game and they can't kill them enough to actually, like, they're just so annoying, like you said. So they go for this last pick, Marana, who also dies to Coil.
Yeah, it's not great, but at least it's a very big comfort hero for Wish. I believe when Wish played on OG, it was like the one hero he did play for them in that short span. And it's like, it's one of his standout heroes, I believe. Again, memory might not be on my side today, but yeah, it's a comfort pick at least. I'm still very much in HellRaiser's corner. There's so much pressure on this Marana in this mid lane to pivot out of laning phase into key rotations to, like, for example, he could easily move to the Timber lane. Arrow the catapult, kills the catapult, you stop the Timber pressure now. Like, it's annoying, but he's not taking your tower. Like, I can see why the Marana you can deal with the Timbersaw in like an indirect way. Take away his ability to push through neutral creeps and just allow him to just farm. And then eventually you'll have all the items on your team that you can play. But it's still, overall, I think, very scary for Voldemort, and they have to put an absolute shift in this game to get to the time where they can actually, play Dota.
Any hope here for Voldemort, BSJ, or is it just completely like Will's saying here, it's the HR all the way?
I hate to say it, but I'm HR all the way. I feel like you have to 4-man gank any of their 3 cores to kill them. You have to 4-man gank the puck, the Timbersaw, and the Lifestealer, and you only got 5 heroes. So I feel like you're going to gank one of them. Maybe they'll get some early game kills, but like their other 2 towers are going to be dying in the meantime. So that's my concern. But if they can get over that initial hump, I want to say, if they can make this Timbersaw, like if they can deter that early aggression, like this PL can eventually carry the game. But I think the pace, like when I look at PL as a hero, his weakness is the game is too fast that before he's got like 2 or 3 items, he's already being forced to fight. And I think that's going to happen this game.
And you said it as well, BSJ, that if there was going to be any game that there would be one here by Voldemort, it would be the first one. And it doesn't seem too likely at all. But it's time for us to get into the game. We've got 2 new commentators to bring us in all the action for this one. We've got Killer Pigeon and Pexu. So guys, let's get into it.
Thank you, panel. Definitely no Harry Potter fans on that panel. And, well, it's not two to start with. We are missing one to begin with. But Pexu should be joining us shortly. Just got a few technical issues, and we can get straight into the game. And, well, I mean, it's an interesting one. You know, the panel kind of hit on this already. The change-up that came out of HellRaisers. You know, they lost one of the big stars in Roger, now actually having to have their stand in a Chu, which obviously has had some success in the past. I think most notably for a lot of people probably be outside the most recent would be his run on Na'Vi, I believe last year it was. Then you got Voldemort. And I mean, these aren't necessarily lackluster players in their own rights. You know, you got members of Wind and Rain here. You've got the formidable squad in itself, plus one or two. And when I look at these drafts, I can kind of see where their concerns are coming. I mean, we've seen how Venomancer can just kind of ruin a lot of opponents' lanes at the moment. This Centaur is kind of the get out of jail free card, but it is going to be shut down hard by Kaysani being able to eliminate their ability to escape with those dream calls. I think really, for me, if Voldemort want to succeed here, in fact, I'm just going to call him Voldemort. I want to avoid this DMC issue, so it'll be Angry Eyebrows versus DMCA pending. For them, it's probably about Nikwa. If his positioning is on point, if the puck can't find him, the clockwork can't find him, I think he can actually do a lot of work on this winner Wyvern. It's that type of hero that gives you the hard reset. And I like that PSJ kind of hit on this. Like, if they can get past that hard hurdle at the start, maybe if the Timber especially doesn't get off to too strong of a start, maybe we do get to see the Phantom Lancer in all his glory. But me, I want to see what Wish can actually do on this mid lane. I mean, Mirana, we've been seeing it a lot. I think it was mentioned earlier on the day that it's quite a popular pick in NA at the moment. Not so much in the EU region, but could easily start creeping back in there. I kind of hear some on the background. We might be ready to get next to it. It'll be good, right, guys? Because we all want to hear what the former OGC captain has to say. For a moment, let's just keep an eye on what's going to actually be happening here. I wonder if Maposh can actually apply enough pressure. The problem you have when you're a Venomancer is you are incredibly slow. So he has to start with the Windlace at least, and you're not as afraid of hitting the Centaur as you used to be, because of course it's not a case of, hey, let's stack up, big retaliate, and then just go in for a Swamper of a kill, like 200 plus right-click damage. But this lane, I think the bigger concern is that Nyx isn't going to struggle to farm, and I do feel like in the more recent patches, Lifestealer has become a more aggressive force compared to the Lifestealers of old. You know, the ones that used to go for the Radiant, stuff for the Midas, and they just wanted to farm. They'd be a problem later on. Whereas now, especially the CIS teams, you see them actually utilize this hero a lot more effectively, I want to say, than maybe the EU teams I've been seeing recently. Whether it's with, you know, these heroes that benefit from being stacked up more health, or the movement speed, as well as the classic being the Lifestealer bombs, which you have with the clockwork and with the puck in this game. Swinging out that clock, because you start with the boots, you can pressure onto the ult pretty well. It's just a case you don't really have much regen because you have to stop those boots, but at the same time, you haven't got much to do in this lane. As long as you drag the Disruptor away from the creeps, that's just going to get Timber all the space he needs. And you can actually already see that he's making sure he's nowhere near that creep wave. At all times, it is a case of, can I get Funnick level 3, level 5 quicker than PL does? And if so, that frees up the clock to rotate. And when you look at the other lanes, Puck, especially in that mid lane, there is kill potential. Once Puck has 6, Mirana could be in a lot of trouble there. I think that is maybe one of the big things to actually fixate on. Is right now, they are even. The stat gain on Mirana is, of course, pretty formidable, 3.7 actually per level. I feel like the Puck could get the edge here. I do feel like the Puck's going to have an easier time rotating as well. All in all, so far, pretty quiet. I don't think you're going to get too much early kill potential. I think it is going to come mainly down to the mids. Unless, say, Disruptor just completely steps out of place and gets caught in the cogs with a clockwork. But I think it's still, until Chu has like level 3 as result, there's not much kill potential that he can achieve. I keep getting the same buzzers, guys. Hopefully that is the imminent sound of Exus eventually arriving. I don't know why his call sign is buzzing. Actually sounds like someone's riding a moped on me right now. All in all, they aren't actually giving Centaur PL either. Like, they are ensuring that actually the lanes are started off strong, which is concerning to me because as this game goes on, like, there's multiple factors considered here. One, Voldemort do not have a good Spirit Vessel builder, and Yol doesn't have much life to work with against the man they'll eventually need a Spirit Vessel against. Chew with the yoink as he gets the Rocket Flare to get the first blood. And the concern is if they start to fold in this lane already, like, what's your backup plan? I think there is going to be a lot weighing in on Wish and what he can do. And in this case, is it wishful thinking whether you can take this? Because I just don't feel like Centaur, while he's still a very formidable hero, when he's kind of as hard as someone like a Puck in a draft, it's not a hero we see dominate. We used to. Hello? I keep hearing people. I keep hoping I've got a Pex on the line. It's okay, guys. If you cool out for enough, one day he will arrive. All in all, I think if you are HellRaisers, the less aggression that comes out from Voldemort in the first 10 minutes, the better. Because you've just got heroes that are inherently going to farm faster, and they're going to be ready to kind of swing out the lane pretty quickly. Like, this Timber not being shut down at all is my chief concern. Especially when you consider, when you look at Voldemort's lineup, it really is about what the PL can do in this game. And there's not really an easy rotation that wins his lane, resets it, makes it better for him. Boogie in the bot lane. Stomp does come out, but these slows are way too powerful. They'll overwhelm him, and this is the crux of the change of the Centaur, you know, return to the days of old. In this case, this is one of the changes that Centaurs don't like, is no one's afraid to hit you anymore. There's no chance that you turn around with these 11 stacks to retaliate and say, all right, if you want to fight, I'll give you one. Speaking of fights, in the top lane, PL does go down as well. And this is just the Phonics show. There's a reason that teams have in the past a lot of the time banned this hero from him. This Orb of Venom to start with, by the way, beautiful. It's just so hard for the PL, right? Because he doesn't have an easy escape. If he uses Doppelganger, it's a long cooldown. If he goes Phantom Rush, where's he going to rush towards? Further into the mess and away from safety? And I think this is where we're going to maybe start to see some potential rotations from Chew at this rate. Because now that Kasani has level 6, the Mirana, especially, Wish has to be a little bit defensive. Like, he does have the infused raindrop, yes, but he could easily get caught out by a clock rotation eventually. But now, clock will rotate towards top, but Rajik should be burnt through quickly as they're away, and Centaur in the bot lane will go down in the meantime. And the question is, if Cent can't sit here, where can you put him? I guess maybe you could try and switch it up and bring the PL down here, but you have to get a kill rotation, otherwise you know that HellRaisers are just going to match that, move to the alternative lane. It is a little bit of a doozy. All in all, though, I will give credit where credit is due. Wish is keeping up CS-wise with the puck so far. So this is the one variable I was saying, right? Out of the cores, what can maybe do something is the Mirana. You are going to be fighting up against a lot. And of course, one of the big issues with Mirana is she is a bit of a glass cannon. And you are up against heroes that can stop you from using your mobility to offset your glass cannoniness. And also multiple heroes that can just get on top of you. And I will be kind of intrigued to see what kind of build he goes with this game. Like, where's priority it is. I feel like you just need stats. What form that'll come, I'm not so sure right now. Poshka has found Nikwa. Well, has Poshka been found himself. He's pretty fast for a little slippery bugger. And Boogie buggered up himself. Go for the TP away, but Sani is here. He doesn't need to use the Dream Call, though, because... Nikwa? You can't TP while Cold Embrace, bud. I mean, maybe he was going to die either way. Maybe Nikwa's opinion on that was, you know, I'm a dragon, you're a horse. You haven't got wisdom. You don't realize how likely you were to die there. But as a result, a Science rotation nets him a double kill, and Wish, because there's no catapult around, and Mirana's not inherently a hero that wants to hit towers, can't really pressure. And while that's happening, pressure applies on the top lane, and it's just Timbersaw against this Disruptor, who I'm feeling bad for right now. Like, Yol has to sit in this lane. You don't really want to, but you're just in a situation where if you don't try and at least slow this down, Timber gets the tower even quicker than this point. Like, this is without catapult. Like, he got enough pressure at the 5-minute mark that he's able to take it down pre-8 minutes. And this is getting out of control. I mean, this is a 5k net worth lead before the 8-minute mark. Even when you look at it from an XP perspective, all I'm seeing, the more I look at this, is like, when can Wish make something happen? He's going to try now as he rotates down bot to maybe apply some pressure. They need to get the solo exp into Boogie, and I'd like to identify this. Like, Voldemort, what they really need is ultimates to work with. And ultimates are being used in the meantime by HellRaisers. Yes, Venom Lance goes down. They find a bigger kill onto the Phantom Lancer. and all in all for Voldemort is just how much can you stem the bleeding? You need to get to your level 6s as quickly as possible. You do have strong ultimates. Yes, your Stampede is countered by the Dream Core, but you do have the potential to win this curse, with Sneakwa is getting a decent amount of XP in the bot lane at the moment, so it shouldn't be too long of a wait. If Disruptor can get 6 at a decent time as well, they're going to be powerful to fight. In the meantime, Centaur doesn't want to fight at all. And with this rotation, this is going to be another tower. I just like how clean cut it is for HellRaisers. Like, nothing complicated. Just pivot the advantage of the Timber, rotate with the puck if need be. But you can already see there's this clean cut motion across the map. They realize that right now, Voldemort are getting jacked all off the lanes. And they're going to try and strip what little remains away from Voldemort. Little control remains, rather. To ensure that there's really no gold to go around. And if you look at their heroes, I mean, these are heroes that need gold. Like, Mirana is a hero that is heavily accelerated based on item progression. You know, Centaur, he needs something. Pipe, Blink, these type of items. Or his initiation doesn't really exist. I mean, even these supports, some like, for example, Glimmercapes are pretty nice. But nobody's able to get any space right now. And you can already see the rotation coming to force Rajik's completely out. Yeah. Maybe they jump the gun, or maybe not. The Dream Call's there just in time. Keisani tickles with the tip. Says, how you doing? Rajik's, he's only got 1 point doppelgang, so he has no escape, even if he manages to last long enough for the Dream Call. Meanwhile, in the river, the mid lane, Chu has been hit up long time by the arrow, so nice kill and return at least, but nothing near as big as the kill onto both the Centaur and the Phantom Lancer that HellRaisers achieved. Keisani's still hunting. And this is getting spooky as well. He's going for the Blink Dagger. He's pretty close to it. In fact, if he gets this kill, it'll be more or less there. Nick says, I'll try and help you get to the goal. But, oh no, he walks in the arrow, Keisani. This is going to hurt a lot. Maybe get away because he's got the Fairy Fire and the Loser will be enough to get him out. But no, the glimpse, the timing, yo! He thought he was just going to go home to heal. But no, this Disruptor, he says, we're down this hard. My death wouldn't change much. But if we get a kill on that pesky Fairy Dragon, maybe we can start to clinch something back here. Putting all your eggs into one basket at this point. They realize that Wish, you know, the more gold you can get on him, maybe you can make something happen. He's going for that Monkey King Bar rush. I don't really blame him in this type of game. You lack damage right now because your PL's not online, your Centaur hasn't got the initiation tools. It really is turning into kind of a 4 protect 1, at least in that mid-game scenario, and the one being protected is actually the Mirana. There is still a big mountain for Voldemort to climb, though. It's just, if they can punish that aggression, they can stem the bleeding. However, Boogie being bled down pretty hard, but nice jump in. They're going to get him low. Boogie, he does make himself pretty low with the double edge to try and enable the kill, but Funnick's so goddamn tanky. And Wish, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. There's going to be a TP out, and there's no way to stop it. Funnick will escape, and in the meantime, Disruptor gets killed off in the jungle by Chu. Meanwhile, mid, Rajik's gets caught by the Dream Call. He's like, I don't even know what to do here. There's not even creep to hit. He will inevitably be killed off. And with the cap ult here, there should be pressure onto the tier 2 coming out from HellRaisers. And there's just a growing concern here, because if you couldn't kill the Timbersaw at that critical moment, like when is your next go? Maybe when you have an MKB? Wish is nowhere near that iron. That's going to take ages. And we already highlighted the fact you have nobody on your team who's going to build a Spirit Vessel. So what is your solution? Maybe later on, PL can get Silver Edge, 3rd or 4th item. I mean, that's Dream World right now. It has 3k net worth compared to the Lifesteal's example that is up the 6k mark already. Has his armor, is going straight towards the Radiance next. It's looking a little bit grim, to say the least. Illusion. But maybe they can make some sort of play once they get 6 on Yol, who's not going to get 6 right now. He's going to get 6 death, though. I probably should have pointed out I meant levels. Oh, sure. Not quite. Shoot, he didn't quite have the length to connect. The Boogie will limp away. In the meantime, kill on a Venomancer. Nice little pick off. It's something. I love that they capitalize on the fact they see so many heroes in the mid from HellRaisers. However, when you see that many heroes, why are you hanging around? Rajik's should not be here. And he won't be anymore. He's dead and buried. Oh. I mean, the arrow is good. Maybe you got the damage. Is it going to cost you anything? It's a question, because Funnick's being ignored. It's a good kill on the path. It looked like they were trying to actually stack Nyx as well. It's a big kill. I'll give him that. And it should slow the aggression, so HellRaisers will back off. The good thing as well is Yol now has the Static Storm, so from a defensive perspective, they're not too threatened by HellRaisers immediately re-engaging because they at least have another ultimate on their supports to play around now. All in all, I mean, it looked a bit dicey at first for the Winner's Curse. Like, they didn't get the 2 targets they wanted, but the follow-up was good. There was no Saving Private Ryan. There was no Mr. President. No one dived in front of that arrow to save the life of the puck. Which will probably make Kaysani a little bit sad. Interestingly enough, he's going straight towards the Lincolns next. It's understandable because we highlighted earlier. I say we, as if I'm not talking to myself. Maybe there is multiple myself. No, that's bad for the world. But the point is that the Winner's Curse really is the be-all, end-all in a lot of ways of Voldemort. Obviously, you have got the Static Storm, but like the kind of hard reset counter play, you know, let's set up for an arrow which will dominate and easily get us a kill is always around that Winner's Curse. So I can respect the pick. Not something I often say at Lincolns these days. Funnick. I think he just needs to get this wave in. Like, they actually, I think HellRaisers as a whole are fixated around this mid lane, and it's giving a little bit of space. And the Winner's Curse, the arrow. Case. Now, I'm pretty sure you just died in exact same location. I mean, I'll give you credit. You died here last time it was here. That doesn't mean you're playing more defensively, though. That means you're just dying in the same location, even more aggressively than last time. I mean, this is... I mean, if you're Voldemort, you're over the moon about this, because all HellRaisers are doing is they're just kind of tunnel visioning down mid. But they're not doing much to the tower. They're holding, they're splitting. You can already see Rajix is spending a lot of time top. The Centaur's here as well. And all the while, Yol is just trying to alleviate some of the pressure on the tier 1 bot because there's a casual push mainly from the Venomancer. So all in all, you're kind of happy this is Voldemort. You've stemmed the net worth lead a little bit. Finally, PL is looking like he might complete an item before the game is over. And I wonder if HellRaisers is going to keep this up. I mean, I like that Funnick is mid because he's unkillable. I'm not so confident about Kaysani being mid as much as he is. Now, as we approach the 16-minute mark, the thought comes across all the viewers' minds. What if it is just KP for the entire cast? And how do I find the mute button quick enough? I've been assured we should have it sorted by game number 2 at the latest. You will get Pexu. Scandinavian fans demand it. I think the rough part for HellRaisers is that they couldn't keep the catapult up when it's coming in. Like, this is the thing for Timber that Voldemort doing really well, is they are eliminating the catapults regularly, which is just alleviating the pressure that a Timber Sword usually applies. So this hero is all about the kind of 5-minute intervals to really just press towers. It's not like you got your old damage talent anymore. Oh, top. Kaysani! Oh, no, they didn't actually hit the stun, but they will be able to get him afterwards. No escape for the Fairy Dragon. I'm starting to feel like Voldemort, or Voldy. Let's just call, I like that they're called Voldy, it's better. I think they might have found a potential chink in the armor of Angry Eyebrows here. Because Kaysani has been caught out multiple times in a row now. And he's worth a decent amount of gold. I mean, now they need to try and find a way to go for a bigger kill. If they can find a way to kill Nyx off at this rate, glorious. The problem they're going to have is all this pressure being soaked up by the puck. Sometimes maybe not necessarily needed to the extreme way he's diving the tier 2s. Has given a lot of space to Nyx. So you can already see that he's getting exceedingly close to that Radiance. At which point, miss chance galore, you know, PL, even once he gets his first item, it's going to be a lot harder of a kill to achieve on the Lifestealer. Smoke movement on the bot lane. Voldy moving in. It's going to break. Kaysani, there it is. Winner's Curse coming out. The arrow. Oh, it's going to be blocked by Nyx, which means Kaysani won't die for once. Boogie does get the follow-up stun. Nyx is being brought low, but the rage, the armor gets toggled on, and he's ready to fight with Boogie. They'll be able to bring him down on the side. Nikwa still here up with the Dream Core, tries to heal up the Cold Embrace, and he can't get a kill in return. He'll just go down as well as Nyx gets the double kill. The man who dove in front of the bullet. He says, no, Kaysani, Mr. President, you can't die. And I think that's potentially a different fight if they do at least land the arrow, because then you can just pile on the kill in the park. The ultimate doesn't come out. Nothing happens from the park. And between the park, moving forward, straight on to Yol, who just wanted them to leave him alone, but that ain't going to happen. Bring him down as well. They'll be able to secure this tier 2 tower, and the map is getting mighty small for Voldy.
Dire's
They have
bottom
one
tower
tier
is
2
falling.
and then the rest of the base to hide behind. And they come off that area. You can already see a circle. They're like, this is where Rajix is farming. This is where he's been trying to make his recovery for a century and a half. And this is where he will fall inevitably. It's a natural flow movement, right? Like, if they feel they're ready to go into Roche soon, they could try and just find the pick and go straight in. I don't know if they will when they haven't got any minus armor, though. Like, you can tank, granted, on the side of HellRaisers. I don't think you've got the damage to do it quickly, though. And there is potential turnaround, right? You're against the Centaur, you're against a Wyvern, you're against a Disruptor. And then, of course, there's the threat of Narrow in the pit, in this funneled area where you're going to have 2 or 3 heroes standing. Oh, Centaur caught standing in the wrong location as Chief finds him the hook shot, and there it is. Going to be stampede away. They might want to retreat. Phonic, he's already found him. He's kind of retreat away. He cuts the trees alongside it, so you can't even chain through. Let's get glimpse back as well, and Yo gets hit by the gale, but no chance for a kill. They do force most of the side of Voldy back into the base, though. Rajix, the lone survivor of the scout party that decided to leave their base, will be forced back eventually. Phonic's found Wish. He's got one more lead. He should be able to get away. I mean, personally, he would have liked... He used his big brain. He's like, TP's work. Go find them up. When you consider how this game started in the first 10 minutes, the credit I'll give to Voldy is like this net worth by kind of like an extrapolation process. If it continues that way, it should be bigger than 12k net worth lead, but it might get bigger. Rajix gets found dead for 45 seconds. And it's something we usually forget. The initial kill goal, sure, not too much. Now your PL, the man that you need to eventually carry that late game scenario on the side of Voldy, is gone for 40 more seconds. While Nyx, now having the Radiance online, is able to farm even quicker. The beautiful thing is, like, most games you go, okay, when are we going to rush? You know, we want to get on the high ground as soon as we can. But because of the ridiculously noticeable difference in net worth between the POS ones on both sides, it's not like you're worried about how strong this PL is going to be if you let this go too late. Like, you're only worried in that situation if you let this go too late and, oh, whoops, sorry, I seem to have unplugged my mouse and keyboard, and oh no, we just got team wiped by Voldy 5 times in a row. I don't know how I managed to click out my fountain when I respawned if my mouse and keyboard are unplugged, but I found a way. That is not to say it's impossible with Voldy. More to say that for HellRaisers, like, the ease of execution from this point onwards, it's kind of like they've just built a bunch of get out of jail free cards, you know? It's like they've changed the rules of Monopoly. Like, Voldy, every time they go around, they land on one of those red hotels, they bankrupt themselves. HellRaisers, they land on one of those red houses, they just quickly, you know, turn on their printer and print out some new Monopoly notes, which in this version of the game is legal. Like, look at this. This is sadness. Phonic's been spotted. What do? I'll tell you what you do. You die. They just go in. Wyvern's down. Yol's down as well. They're going to chase through into Rajix as well. Stampede to get him away. And I'm pretty sure both the supports of Voldy were going, where was that 5 seconds sooner, Boogie? Where's the love? Didn't do anything anyway. Rajix is dead. They're in the base. The Wyvern buyback will not scare them away. It might encourage them to go deeper at this rate. Nyx is moving in. Wish has been seen. They'll force a leap out of him. Yeah, he's got this MKB, but he can't stand still long enough to really use it. And Phonic just checking that his timber chain still works. Or hoping that maybe they've still got iron branches left over because they're so underfarmed that they try and use a tango. Just double check. Nobody on the side of Voldy still has tangos remaining. Not because, you know, they're not far behind in net worth, mainly because they've been pummeled from lane and beyond. I think maybe Voldy's move here is to try and just smoke and make a play.
I admit nothing but
the alternative is you give a lot of space to Yol and let him get an axe. Like, in fairness to him, for the, you know, in the POS 5, he has already got one of his Stark Wizards halfway to the next component. Hook shot in the top lane, though. I'll tell you who's not farming, Boogie. He's just trying to run for his life. And this little pony, I mean, he might be going to the glue factory. He doesn't have any stampede for 35 seconds. They've got full vision on him, and he's dead. And that sets up perfectly to take down this tier 2 top. The Glyph will buy a little bit of time, and Mid-Fortune, he baits him in. Wish! He actually came out to play, and he will regret it. The buyback from the Centaur will achieve absolutely nada. As they still get the kill, they move away, and they go, oh, that net worth lead just got even bigger. the other side of the map, Phonics isn't even ensuring that Rajix doesn't even farm. And they're going to move in. They don't quite hit him with the stance, so Rajix is able to move away in time. But now they can pressure all lanes because the tier 2 top is gone. It's just HellRaisers' choice. Dear Angry Eyebrows, do you want to murder a poor, innocent, neutral creature in a pit? Or do you want to take out some dire buildings? Maybe some heroes. They are posturing around that pit. The lines were drawn by Nyx. It's understandable. I think this is a point where you're basically saying if you're HellRaisers, okay, if we just get Roche now, we're kind of just rinsing them outside the base. If they can't find that easy pick on the super deep hero, like my Lifestealer, they can't do anything. So we can just be high ground all day and all night. As I mentioned, this is actually going to coincide with the AC pickup because it's just 200 gold away. He needs the plate mail. That's going to be the minus army you need in Breach base. And then what's the answer on the side of Oldie? Like, they haven't made a move out. They've taken this very stubborn approach, like World War II British strategies, right? We're just going to hunker down, okay? More sandbags, more trenches. We're not coming out. Now, that may have worked for my ancestors in World War II, but not sure it's going to work here. You need to be proactive. You need to make some sort of play, and that's what they're doing. Voldy tried for a wraparound, but they're moving towards top together. HellRaisers aren't too split, and the Stomp gets dodged out. Way too easy. There's the problem with Centaur. It's not easy to hit that. The Stance comes out into Timber in the meantime, but Phonic barely feels it. It's a mild tickling. They'll use the Bloodstone just to be safe, and it's just space for Nyx to hit the buildings. As we said with that AC, it doesn't take too long. Hook shot, a little bit of a whiff. Sometimes you've just got to test the button though. Tower's going to go down. The base has been breached. They need to be very careful about how they use their spells. They're going to throw out the silence. Nice Stomp coming through, and they'll be able to pop through that egg. It's casually, but no, the Dream Core comes down. And the backline is penetrated. They use the static Stomp, but they don't catch on the puck at all. The big arm is being thrown out willy-nilly, not achieving anything at all. Boogie's going to be brought down. The flyback comes out from the Disruptor. But he's already used his ultimate. He's not really that much of a threat anymore. Phonic, yeah, you're hitting him up the Diffuser Blade. He doesn't feel it though. You've already burnt all his mana. Now the movement in by Kisan, he'll split the backline so have to move away. And Nyx, he charges on in, surrounding Equa, gets rid of him before he can use the Winter's Curse. No chase forward, looking for more Wish. We'll just go for the leap away. Can't really afford to get caught here. As a result, they're going to have to surrender this entire game. Not just the lane, the game will go the way of HellRaisers. It looked like it was going this way for a long time, but Voldy are unable to stand up against HR. And in the end, it's just your typical Voldemort experience from the first book or the second book. You know, there's no challenge in Harry until the 4th or 5th. We'll just have to hope